Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am streaming to you from Hungary here in Central Europe. Hi Kleber, hi Puranje, hi Danish. Good to see members in on time. This is a members chat class and everybody is welcome to watch. All right. While we wait for some more members to join in, just a quick bit of information. This lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. And for the general version of the exam, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. Good to see more members. Shang Hung, hi Preeti, hi Roshni. Can everybody see me and hear me okay? I just want to check the stream health. Let me know. All right, great. Yeah, I was having a little bit of an issue there with the feedback, but that's fine. All right, good. Thank you for letting me know, Danish. Puranje, Roshni, thanks for that. All right, everyone, if you haven't yet, make sure to download our app for the Academic IELTS. It's Academic IELTS Help in your Google Play and Apple App Store. Our websites, I'll show you those real quick while we wait for a few more members. This is the academic one here with the blue background. Click that red button to join our premium package. And this is for the general version. Click that red button there to join that premium package. Hi, Raj. Good to see you in class. All right. So, members, viewers, we are continuing with the task 2 question and response that we started with yesterday. So just a review of the question. You can also see it in the stream description. Task 2 writing, you should spend no more than 40 minutes on this task. Many people want to buy brand names in clothes, cars, and other items. What are the reasons for this? And is this a negative or positive? Give explanations and examples to support your opinion from your own experience. Yesterday we did the planning for this question. So we did the paraphrasing. We talked about what brand names are, why people buy them, how this comes into being, what are the positives, what are the negatives. Now, I got an interesting email from one of our viewers, and our viewer said, well, in the class, you talked about the positives and negatives for individuals, but what about society? So what about positives or negatives on society for buying brand name clothes? And I have to agree, there are positives and negatives for not just the individual, but also for society. Now, in the IELTS exam essay, is it a good idea in this case to discuss the positives and negatives for the individual as well as for society? This is just a question before we go on to develop this essay. So when you have a task 2 question that's argumentative, and you can talk about it as positives for people, the individual, one person, or the community or a country as a whole, is it good to go into this level of detail in the exam? What's your opinion? What's your thoughts on that, members? So Zainab says, I think it's better just to focus on the individual. Roshni says, no, just focus on the individual because it's easier to write about. So Shang Hung says, no, only for the people. The reason is the question mentions many people. So I would agree that in this case, I would just write about the individual, positives and negatives. So not talk about all of society. And Roshni, you're absolutely right. So talking about the effect that brand names have on society as a whole is a complex issue. And it's really important that for the IELTS exam, your goal is to get a high band score. Don't go into a complicated, long 500-word essay that's meant for university. That's not the right way to get a good band score on the exam, unless you are an English professor or a political science or a sociology professor that speaks fluent English, and in 40 minutes you can develop a 500-600-word essay, which is not most students, or not most candidates. So in this case, it's better to just focus on the individual. It doesn't say the positive negatives for society. Okay, so it just says, look at the question. It just says, and is this a negative or positive? So you can choose whether you decide to talk about the negative or positive for the individual or society. Here, the individual is an easier choice. Okay, it's an easier choice, and you can definitely get a band 9 focusing on the individual. So careful not to overthink these task 2 questions. If you do that, you can get yourself into a difficult situation and result in lower band scores. Okay. All right, so I'll show you my introduction. This is what I wrote here. Brand names like Nike and Ford have become more prevalent in global society than ever before. That's my hook. So here, I just bring the reader right into an interesting fact. And here, for this topic of brand names, instead of saying brand names simply, I give a little bit of an example in my hook to make the reader more interested. So brand names like Nike and Ford have become prevalent. Prevalent means we can see them everywhere. Prevalent in global society. More prevalent than ever before. So that's my hook. And then here comes my background. And I know that some of you also did this. Some of our members did your homework, which is great. Okay. Our goal for this class is to go on to the body paragraphs and the conclusion. So that's what we will focus on. Okay. Over the past half century, the brand names and logos of many companies have become international standards in clothing, automobiles, and other products. So this is my background. This is my definition. This has had a major impact on people's shopping habits. So that's why it's important to talk about it. Although certain people may argue that brand name merchandise are overpriced and unnecessary, I believe that they are beneficial to consumers because of proven quality and innovation. Okay, so that's my introduction. That's what a band 9 introduction looks like for that question. All right, so now we're going to go right into the body paragraphs. I know that oftentimes these task 2 lessons, they drag out. We don't have a chance to get to the conclusion. And my goal this time, members, is really to get to the end of this essay within the class. So Danish, I see that you're writing your hook. That's great. Just send me your introductions, okay? So if you've written your introductions, members, just send that to me once we're done this whole essay, okay? All right, so let's go to body paragraph 1. What should body paragraph 1 discuss? So what should body paragraph 1 be about here? How should I start? Okay, body paragraph 1. What do I do? What do I write first, and what should I focus on? This is where you can give me your responses. So Roshni says focus on the quality of product. So it should be a topic sentence. Okay. And brand name quality. Sure. Okay. All right. So let's do that. So give me a topic sentence that introduces in more detail the concept of brand name quality. Good. Excellent. So Danish says standard quality products are highly motivated by their sober beauty, durability, reliability, and quick service by which companies earn their name and fame. Danish, that's quite a good sentence, okay? Sober beauty, I think, is a little bit abstract, all right? But otherwise, it's good. So you're going into details about durability, reliability, quick service. So that's the quality of the product. Shang Hung says maybe focus on the negative side, so it should be the reason of overpriced and unnecessary. Shang Hung, I wouldn't in this case focus one full paragraph on the products being overpriced and unnecessary, but your thinking is not bad. So that's not my first point. So I believe that they are beneficial to consumers because of proven quality. Proven quality would be my body paragraph 1, and proven innovation would be my body paragraph 2. Okay. Now, Shang Hung, you are clever to think, hey, well, maybe not completely ignore these negative points. Okay. So we can include that in the topic sentence. Think about how we can include that. Okay. So Roshni says, in the 21st century, the majority of people are more inclined towards buying reliable products. Okay. In the topic sentence, it's a good idea to reflect the actual topic. In this case, it's brand names. Okay. Kleber says products with premium quality are durable and reliable. Paying more money gives tranquility and saves on maintenance and replacement. It's not bad, Kleber. It's a good idea. It's a good leading sentence as well. Just don't jump to the future tense, Kleber. So don't use the future participle will give tranquility. Stay in the present tense so that your information is generally true. Okay? That's for all students. Be very careful not to jump around in your tense in your essay. That lowers the quality of the essay, and your band score will go down. If you're jumping from past to present to future, then that's called tense confusion in writing. And tense confusion lowers the quality of writing, and of course lowers the band score, especially when you're in the high bands, in the band 7, 8, 9 category. Yes, Shang Hung, absolutely. In this case, you can talk just about the positive reasons. I'll show you why real quick, Shang Hung. So here, it says, and is this a negative or a positive? So notice, Shang Hung, that when the question says, what are the reasons for this, and is this a negative or positive, the question is not asking you to discuss both sides. It doesn't say discuss the negatives and the positives. What you have to pay really close attention to, students, is this coordinating conjunction here. If you have an or, then you should be focused on explaining one side or the other side with 2 clear points. Okay? If this is an and, then you should be explaining both sides and going with the paragraph you disagree with and the paragraph that you agree with. Okay? So be very, very careful when you read the question. Pay attention to the details. Or and are very, very important to distinguish. Okay? All right. So I'll write my topic sentence. Those were some good suggestions. And Shang Hung, it's not a bad idea that you have to maybe give a little bit of a hint towards why people might say this is negative. Okay. So even though well-known brand products are significantly more expensive than no-name goods, consumers are paying for greater reliability and better service or services. Okay, so this is what I mean, Shangheng, that it wasn't a bad suggestion that we can hint on the concept of overpriced. So even though well-known brand products are significantly more expensive than no-name goods, consumers are paying for greater reliability and better services. Okay, so that would be a very clear topic sentence that goes into a deeper definition of proven quality. Okay, so quality as defined by reliability and better service. And I did hint that, okay, some people think it's overpriced because they're more expensive. So don't overthink it. Okay? Don't overthink it. Thanks, Roshni. All right? Doesn't have to be overly complex. Often the idea is much more important than the words that you're using. Okay? All right, so what comes next? Okay, so this is the topic sentence. What comes after the topic sentence? This should be clear. It is, the explanation, right? The explanation. Now, what should you be thinking of in the explanation? So, supporting points means explanation and examples, okay? So a clearer way to think about supporting points is think about explanation. And when you think about the explanation, think about a question or think about questions. Like, what do you mean they're significantly more expensive? What do you mean they're more reliable? What do you mean you get better service? Okay. So, yes, Preeti, why do they have these qualities? And when you're thinking about the explanation, you should immediately remember this very important word. What word should pop into your mind when you're thinking about explanations and, of course, examples as well? There's a key word that immediately you should hear Adrian's voice, my voice going, remember this word. Think about this word when you're giving an explanation. Not just the why, Kleber, I think that's going to come naturally, but there's a word that should really just boop, and many students forget it, and this magical little word can help to increase your band score by like 1 band. No joke. Okay? So as long as this little word pops into your mind as soon as you get to the explanation part of your body paragraph, you can improve your band score by 1. Okay, so if you have a 6, you can jump to a 7. If you have a 5.5, you can jump to a 6.5. Okay, it's not the how. Right? Think quantity. Okay, think numbers. Right? The idea of an explanation is that you create clarity for your audience. So you make your ideas clear for your reader. And one of the best ways to do that is to start using numbers. Okay? So use numbers to create clarity. So let's take a look at this. Even though well-known brand products are significantly more expensive than no-name goods, consumers are paying for greater reliability and better services. Okay, give me an explanation for that topic sentence using some numbers to make that idea clear. Okay? All right. Shang Hung, I think that's a topic sentence that you're writing. Leading companies' items seem overpriced compared to unknown brands. People like to purchase these because of their high quality and ease to repair for an extended warranty period. I think in the second sentence, Shang Hung, you're giving too much information. Okay, give me an explanation for this topic sentence that includes some numbers. Doesn't have to be a specific example yet. All right. Visualize it, and it doesn't have to be the exact same that every person would say. It just has to be realistic. Okay. Danish says, in this trendy lifestyle, renowned companies prefer to provide high quality products, not only for their status, but also for customer satisfaction. Okay, Danish, I think you're going a little bit off topic. So we're talking about brand name products. You're talking about the motivation for companies that create brand name products. So it's a close idea, but it's not exactly on. Kleber, of course you can make up numbers. Yes, it just has to be realistic. It does not have to be precise. The IELTS examiners are not Googling your ideas to make sure that you have the exact percentage or the exact right number. You can absolutely make up numbers. In fact, that's what you should do. What's important is that it's believable. Okay, so it shouldn't be some crazy number. It should be believable for the reader. As long as it seems realistic, it's absolutely fine. You can write whatever number you want. All right. Okay, so let's see. What do you got? Come up with an explanation. I'll start writing my explanation. Let's see if yours will coincide with mine. So oftentimes, shoppers pay 20 to 50% more for a brand named vehicle or clothes. Clothes, since these items last twice as long as their no-name competition, and in case of repair, there are convenient warranties and service options. Okay, so that's what I've put there. All right, CR7 guy says brand names over the years have been using state-of-the-art technology and most durable materials as they never compromise quality. All right, it's not bad, CR7 guy, so it's a good explanation. Not really using much quantitative information, however. Preeti says there are a number of automobile companies that launch thousands of vehicles with unique features. Okay, I think Preeti, you're kind of on the right idea, but you need to phrase it a little bit better so it's clear for the reader. Here's mine. So oftentimes shoppers pay 20 to 50% more for brand name vehicles or clothes since these items last twice as long as their no-name competition. So notice that quantitative definition. So I say, okay, significantly more expensive than no-name goods. How much more expensive? Well, 20 to 50% more. It could be 100%, 200%. It doesn't matter. It's just a significant number, okay? But what are consumers paying for? In the topic sentence, I'm saying that they're paying for greater reliability and better services, okay? So what does that mean? Well, that means that these items last twice as long as their no-name competition. So we can get into more details about that in the example. And in case of repair, there are convenient warranties and service options. Okay, so that's what I mean by better services. All right. Okay. And if I don't want to repeat the word services, I can replace it with repair. Okay, always aim to paraphrase in your practice at home, okay? All right, so Kleber, just at an eye glance, it looks like you're going into the example. So Kleber says, even though Apple's iPhone is 30% more expensive than the average Android smartphones, it has 60% of the market because its battery lasts for 2 years as opposed to 1 year on most Android phones, okay? So Kleber, almost there. I think that you're kind of combining the explanation and the example, which is not bad. It's one strategy, okay? But you're definitely on the right track, Kleber. That's definitely a good approach, okay? All right, so Preeti, I see that you're stretching your explanation now. Good. Go into more numbers, Preeti. So these vehicles are quite a bit more expensive. So say $5,000, $10,000 more expensive. So give me a number, okay? Go into those details. So now I want to come up with an example, okay? And the example should be for my explanation, okay? Now, if I want to write a really good example that's going to help me to get a higher band score, what should I be thinking about? So what should I consider when I think about my example if I'm really pushing for those high band scores where I'm like, okay, if I do this with my example, it's going to help me get a better band score. Okay? Danish, I see that you're going into the example. Danish, I think that example is, it's too complex for a short 300-word task 2 essay because you're using words like legislation of the ISO, but how do you know that your examiner has no idea what that means? If you don't explain ISO legislation, it's just confusing to your reader. So careful, Danish. Just by using fancy terms and vocabulary, it might not work to your advantage. Your goal has to be clear writing in the exam that your audience can understand, okay? Shang Hung says, brand name companies such as Nike and Ford, which provide excellent high quality clothes and vehicles, sell their products between 20 to 50% more than the competition, okay? Although the price is higher, between 20 to 50% more, people have more choices for the same model with 4 to 6 colors to choose, more than any other company which puts their goods with few choices. Okay, Shenghung, careful not to overcomplicate. You have a very nice first half of a response there. Don't overcomplicate, because you're starting at a band 8, but then by the end of your response, you're decreasing your score to a band 6, 6.5, because you're creating confusion. Okay, if you have nice writing, students, careful not to destroy the nice writing by trying to be too fancy and creating confusing, complex information. Okay. Yeah, so Alexander says, keep in mind, everyone, that the question is asking for examples from your own experience. Yeah. So you might want to say, I bought a pair of Nike shoes, right? And that's very clever, Alexander, that you realize that. So the original question says, give explanations and examples to support your opinion from your own experience, right? So it's from your own experience. And remember that here, I already showed that this is going to be a first-person essay, because I wrote that I believe that they are beneficial to consumers. So here I'm showing first-person voice. In my example, I should also show first-person voice. Okay? So you have to pay attention to that. Very good on you, Alexander, for noticing that. All right? So here, the example, I'm using first person. And what else should I pay attention to in the example to get a high band score? So that's 1 point. That was very good. Good job, Alexander. Thumbs up. All right. What else should I pay attention to? Okay. Preeti says, for example, last year I bought an Apple laptop and paid $20,000 more than the other company, but I'm very satisfied with its display and speed, and it is extremely durable. Preeti, very good. Okay, that's a good example. All right. So the example, I'm paying attention to the fact that it's first person, and remember, students, think of an example that you can use in body 2 as well. For point 2. Okay, so here we're talking about an item that's more reliable, that's more durable. Okay, so it's better quality. And pick an item that is also innovative. Okay, so here you can think about a really nice BMW that you bought, which is higher quality. And in the second body paragraph, you can say it's innovative because it has smart crash technology that keeps the driver safer than other vehicles that don't have brand names. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you can use the examples to link your information in your body paragraphs together, then that's a very clever way to improve your coherency, your cohesion. Okay, so that boosts your coherency and your cohesion mark, and those are the two most important marks to increase in your task 2 to get a higher band score. Okay, so Roshni says, take for example, last year I bought an Apple phone because of its extra features like battery saving technology and long-lasting product, even though I paid an extra 20%. Yeah, or an extra $300. Sure, Roshni, that works. So that's perfect. The iPhone is a good choice for an example also, because iPhones are high-quality products, which are also very innovative. Now, remember that the original question does not ask about phones, so always be very, very attentive to the question. So the question says clothes and cars. So if you can think of an example that's either clothing or cars, you're going to be even more specific to the question. So I would choose a car or a piece of clothing, like North Face winter jacket. Okay. So the North Face winter jacket I bought 3 years ago is still in perfect condition, right? So here's my example, okay? So for instance, I bought a well-known brand name North Face jacket, winter jacket, 5 years ago and paid over $300. Okay, I'm not going to write $300. I'm just going to use the money symbol and the number to keep it short because I want to use my time and my words efficiently to get the maximum band score. Okay, so for instance, I bought a well-known brand name North Face winter jacket 5 years ago and paid over $300. Since it is a very high quality garment, it still looks and feels brand new. Okay. So that would be a good example to support this concept of paying more but getting a high quality product. Now, I could get even more fancy and say the one time the zipper did break, the manufacturer replaced it under warranty, but I don't need to, okay? So we're going for a band 8, band 9. We're not going for 5 gold stars with a cherry on top. So this is perfectly fine here. All right, let's read this so far. Even though well-known brand products are significantly more expensive than no-name goods, consumers are paying for greater reliability and better services. Oftentimes, shoppers pay 20 to 50% more for brand name vehicles or clothes since these items last twice as long as their no-name competition. And in case of repair, there are convenient warranties and repair options. For instance, I bought a well-known brand name North Face winter jacket 5 years ago and paid over $300. Since it is a very high quality garment, it still looks and feels as brand new. Okay. All right. Am I done here with body paragraph 1 or do I have more to go? So am I finished here? Do I jump to body paragraph 2 or should I do a little bit more here? So Roshni says, yeah, maybe put in a connecting sentence. Okay. Yeah, connecting, concluding sentence. Right? So members, I know there's a lot to pay attention to in order to write a high quality essay. It's not impossible. Just practice it at home, all right? Remember, keep the question in mind, as Alexander very cleverly reminded us, hey, this is a first-person essay. And Shang Hung reminded us that, hey, maybe we should at least lightly touch on the concepts of negative because the question does ask, is it negative or positive? So maybe say, well, this is why people think it's negative, but in fact, it's quite positive, okay? And Alexander says, well, careful, guys. The question is saying include examples, explanations from your own experience. So you need to be first person here. All right. So in the connecting and concluding sentence, think about that. Okay. Think about the question. Think about the easiest way to connect body paragraph 1 to body paragraph 2 while reflecting on the question. Okay. Okay. So think about the question. One other consideration for your connecting concluding sentence is to reflect on your thesis. Although certain people may argue that brand name merchandise are overpriced and unnecessary, I believe that they are beneficial to consumers because of proven quality and innovation. And the question, hold that in your thoughts throughout your essay, says, what are the reasons for this, and is this a negative or a positive? Okay, so don't overcomplicate. Can be fairly simple. Okay, so Danish says a limited period of time guarantee or warranty is backed up for their quality and social position, which is not followed by unpopular brand names. So that looks like an explanation, Danish, for the body paragraph 1. Okay, so Roshni says this is one of two reasons thousands of people purchase brand name clothing and automobiles. Yeah, absolutely, Roshni. That's it. Okay, that's your connecting concluding sentence. That's all you need to do. This is one of two reasons. You're outlining two reasons why people buy these and that they're positive. Sure. So this is one of two reasons that millions, I would say, of customers prefer to buy brand names in clothes and cars as well as other items. Sure. So this is one of two reasons that millions of customers prefer to buy brand names in clothes and cars as well as other items. Okay, good. Yeah, very good. Shang Hung says, moreover, brand named items are always have higher innovation in their products. Shang Hung, that's going to be the topic sentence for your next paragraph, for your body paragraph 2. Which we are going to start right now. Okay, so body paragraph 2. First, we write the topic sentence. Okay. And again, the topic sentence is a deeper definition of your point number 2. So our point number 2 here is innovation. And sometimes here we can include, I mean, it's not necessary, but if you're going for band 9, you might want to include this concept here of unnecessary. Okay, so people may argue that brand name merchandise are overpriced and unnecessary. So here, we can include that in the topic sentence as well. All right, now for body paragraph 2 members, I want you to just very smoothly at your own speed, some of you are faster, some of you take a little bit longer, just write the topic sentence, the explanation, the example. I will do the same, and then I will look at what you're writing at the same time as I'm writing. We'll compare our paragraphs, and that will allow us to get to the conclusion within this class, okay? And I already see some sentences coming up. So Kleber says some companies invest a lot of money to research the consumer products with the most recent features on the market. Sure. So multi-million-dollar brand name corporations invest much money into research and development, which brings cutting-edge technology to the market that consumers are willing to pay extra. So multi-million-dollar brand name corporations invest much money into research and development, which brings cutting-edge technology to the market that consumers are willing to pay extra for. Okay? Explanation. All right, so what do I mean by that? Okay. Danish says, on the other hand, innovations in fashion and technology are the backbone for hundreds of branded products that provide challenges and competition. Okay, Danish, I'm not sure what you mean by challenges. You have the right idea. Just be really careful, Danish, with your connections. On the other hand means opposite, and there is no opposite here. This is additive. So the first is a positive, the second is a positive. It's not negative positive, so it's not on the other hand, okay? So careful, all right? That creates confusion, and if you have confusion, Danish, then your band score goes down. So be very, very careful not to misuse connecting phrases or conjunctions, okay? Paranjay says, companies have invested a lot of capital into researching the best ways to attract consumers by introducing newer and more innovative products into the market. Great. Paranjay, avoid question markers in your statements. So avoid words like how or why. Okay? Good. All right. Clothing and automotive companies are releasing new products every quarter, which provide consumers with more comfort, design, and safety. Okay? So again, think quantitative, stick to the question. Clothing and automotive companies are releasing new products every quarter. Quarter here means every 3 months, which provide consumers with more comfort, design, and safety. The North Face jacket I bought 5 years ago was not only the lightest winter coat at the time, weighing just 250 grams, but also able to keep me warm at temperatures under minus 30 degrees. Even though I thought I would not need such unique features at the time of purchase, I was glad when I went skiing in the freezing cold. Okay, so I'm using the same example that I used from body paragraph 1 to create that cohesion. All right. So the North Face jacket I bought 5 years ago was not only the lightest winter coat at the time, weighing just 250 grams, but also able to keep me warm at temperatures under minus 30 degrees. Even though I thought I would not need such unique features at the time of purchase, I was glad when I went skiing in the freezing cold. Okay. All right. So again, make those connections. All right. Okay. So far so good. Now let's get to the conclusion. We have a few minutes for this, so let's do the conclusion together. So what is the first part of the conclusion? Okay, this is where I really wanted to get to today. So what's the first part of the conclusion? What do I write first? Okay, the conclusion is not just a repeat of the introduction. Okay, so Shang Hung says, restate your points. So restate the points of your essay. Absolutely, Shang Hung, you're right. So it's not quite restating the thesis yet, Alexander, but it's close. Okay, so restate your points. Okay, and you can paraphrase them. Now start your conclusion with in conclusion, not summary. It's not a summary. Summary is better for an expository essay, which is task 1. So in conclusion, okay, and give me some conclusion, some sentences for the conclusion. Okay. CR7 guy, yep, that's good for the previous paragraph. I'm reading it while I'm waiting for these concluding sentences. So I'm going to start. So in conclusion, okay. So in conclusion, the general quality of brand name products as well as their state-of-the-art design make them the buyer's choice even at a greater cost than the competition. Okay, so that's my points restated. So I'm paraphrasing there. And then after that comes the argument. Strengthened. So this is kind of the thesis restated, Alexander, because that's really where you're making that strong argument. It's like saying, hey, look, I gave you my opinion. I wrote some explanations, some examples, and I really want you to believe me at this point, so I'm going to restate my argument. Therefore, I strongly believe, okay, this would not sound too good in the introduction because your reader would be like, wow, you're giving me your strong beliefs and I haven't even heard your explanations or your ideas. But here you can now state it with strength. So therefore, I strongly believe that having a global market filled with brand named merchandise is to the benefit of consumers. Okay, so that's the argument strengthened. That's where I'm strengthening what I've been expressing throughout the essay, and using, of course, words that are a little bit more forceful for the reader. Okay? Kleber says, in conclusion, people may think that they're buying expensive products just for the status of having their logo, but they are taking home safer and more durable items. Kleber, that's very good. It's a very good alternative sentence. Brilliant. Okay, really good. All right. So the last part of the conclusion is what's called the take-home message. And the take-home message is what you want your reader to think about after they finished your essay. It's what you want them to take home and think, hey, okay, should I buy Nike shoes instead of these no-name shoes? Is it worth investigating why they're more expensive? So that's the take-home message, okay? So it is advisable that shoppers spend a few extra dollars and get a product that may save them time, money, and much more. Okay? So that's my take-home message. So it is advisable that shoppers spend a few extra dollars for brand names. Let's not forget the topic. And get products that may save them time, money, and much more. Okay? My father had a kind of a interesting saying. He said that I'm not wealthy enough to buy cheap no-name products. And there's an interesting truth in that. We could argue it, but an interesting truth nonetheless. Okay, so that's the take-home message. All right, members, I will post this essay on the community bulletin board. You can go over it, do a word count, see how it's constructed, reread the question, then read the essay to see how it makes sense. That's all the time for this class. Definitely practice at home. Remember, your essays have to be specific to the question that they're asking you in that task 2 on your IELTS exam. If you want to get a high band score, your essay must be cohesive, coherent, and specific to the question that you are being asked. That's my final advice for you in this class. In 30 minutes, I will be back with a reading section passage example with some explanations. If you have questions, comments, concerns about our products or about the exam, send me an email, Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com. Thanks so much, everyone, for participating. You are definitely improving and doing better. So be sure to join us on our websites, aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com for much, much more strategies and materials for the exam. I will see you in 30 minutes. Bye for now.